That helps.
Oh, and that may have been an opportunity there for Gus Logie. Very difficult at forward short leg. That certainly came off the bat, and it may just have been that he got a hand to it. Half chance, I suppose.
Would have been an exceptional catch had Gus Logie taken it, because it was straight off the bat, and he's only about a metre from the bat. You've got a bit of a chance when they go from bat to pad and pop up in the air in that position, but straight off the bat it would be an unbelievable catch. Mind you, I've seen blokes like Roger Harper take them in that position straight off the bat. Viv Richards is another one I've seen do it, and Gus Logie is no slouch in the field. Just going back to that wrist, if you get the wrist in the right position, it helps the swing and the direction.
Oh, there's a big appeal again, but I think he played a shot on that occasion and probably would have been just outside the line. And Marshall's down on his knees, pleading for a positive reaction from umpire McConnell down that end.
I haven't seen anyone plead like that since Dennis Lilly was playing the game. It was a beautiful delivery. It's a bit rough when you're the fastest bowler in the world and you can swing him around like that. I reckon that's most unfair. Batsmen should put in a complaint about that. Shouldn't be able to bowl fast and swing them around like that. Beautiful delivery.
That was well left. Well, Marshall beginning to look very dangerous now. 1 for 24. Malcolm Marshall is going to continue. Marsh on 12, a letter yet to score. This is the 17th over, about to be bowled. Earlier today, Alan Border won the toss and he decided to bat first. We did have a talk with Kevin Mitchell, the groundsman. He thought that this pitch, if anything, was slightly drier than normal. Standing out there this morning, it really did look superb. Very even coverage of grass, but it's beginning to look very dry now. Quite a windy day, and that certainly has the bang on target on off stump. Yes, that wind out there at the moment drying that surface out very quickly. Wind out of the west today, which is not really normal for this time of the year. Marshall, who's bowling from the Vulture Street end, having to run into that wind. That's a very wide delivery. I think he's been quite lucky on a couple of occasions today to get away with that ball not being signalled wide. In fact, I think he probably thought it was.
Yes, he gave himself up there, Malcolm Marshall. He signalled wide. Peter McConnell being extremely kind to him. I was just looking at that in-swinger that he bowled in the last over, Tony, where he really moved it back very sharply. I mean, that sort of swing you relate to swing bowlers like Bob Massey.
Again, that's quite straight. And once again, they're certainly asking the question, just the wicketkeeper and Marshall himself on that occasion. That was actually a straightish delivery. Yes, he has swung it. This one doesn't really swing that much. Probably just going down the leg side. You don't expect the really quick bowlers to swing it too much, but I agree that in-swing of his certainly going, and that's probably what's causing a little bit of doubt in the minds of the batsmen out there at the moment.
I'm sorry to spoil your day by mentioning the name Bob Massey, but Bob really did used to swing them around.
Well, that's a magnificent shot. Well pitched up, swinging in, smashed through the cover area, down to the boundary for 4. Lovely shot. Marsh leaning into that one. First boundary of the innings. In fact, it's Marsh's first boundary. We have seen one played down towards the boundary at third man. Boone nicked one through the gap, steered one through the gap earlier on off Patterson, so that's the second one of the innings. He moves to 14. One for 31.
The best fruit drink there is doesn't grow on trees.
And Malcolm Marshall comes back into the attack, with the West Indies having set Australia back with that wicket with the very first ball after lunch. And Malcolm Marshall, who took some time to find direction this morning, once he did look very dangerous towards the end of a spell of 9 overs, 2 maidens, 1 for 18. Well, he's back now, and facing, for the first time after lunch, Mike Valletta.
Yes, well, he'll be hoping to home in on that direction that he found and the swing that he found towards the end of his first spell. Well, that's a dreadful start. That ball ever so wide, and this time umpire McConnell down at the Vulture Street end actually calling wide. I think he's been quite lenient on Malcolm Marshall today, but he certainly couldn't let him get away with that one. Have a look at it. Swung away, kept going, and was an extremely wide.
It's the first one that's been signalled by the umpire, although Marshall did signal one against himself early this morning.
Certainly some swing there, that one swinging away quite a lot. See if you can pick up here the movement of the ball in the air away from the right-hander. Swung even more after it pitched. That might not seem a very difficult ball to play, but when you're not quite sure whether it's going to go out that way or come zipping back in the other way at you, it does make it quite difficult. So the letter will be tested out there. He has 13. Border at the other end is yet to score.
He certainly got this ball swinging now and enjoying it, Malcolm Marshall. Getting the ball to swing away. But as Tony has been warning, it's that one which will come the other way, swing back in. And he used both deliveries, the in-swinger and the out-swinger, complementing each other magnificently in England during the series there when he got 35 wickets in the 5 tests.
I'll tell you what, he was lucky to get away with that one as well. Very wide. Notice the swing here. Out of control almost, whipping away, and Dujon having to go a long way to his right.
There's the in-swinger now, well taken by Dujon. Marshall has got this ball swinging. He's making it move around in the air, but his direction, as it was this morning, not good yet.
Oh, that one went the other way. Quite a long way too. Notice how the batsman was slightly wrong-footed there. Valletta looking for the outswinger. He was falling over a little bit as the ball went zipping down the leg side.
A matter of Malcolm Marshall getting it on line, and if he can get that ball starting somewhere on off stump, middle stump for both deliveries, Valletta will find it very, very difficult to keep him out. So 3-4-65.
Hey, Ruthie, guess who? Mighty! The Toyota 100,000 challenge is still on. This month, they're offering over $2,000 worth of extras on Camry CS for nix. That's no extra cost. You just get headlight protectors, CSX wheel covers, wagon roof racks, factory air conditioning, and even a burglar alarm.
Hey, tell him to hurry.
Hurry!
So Alan Border with a big job in his hands here. Australia in somewhat of a hole at 3 for 65.
Border a little tentative there in defence too. He's received a few really good balls since.
3 for 65, and the West Indies using a 13th man here. They've already got Keith Arthurton on the field, and Roger Harper has come on in place of Gordon Greenidge. Didn't seem to be any major problem with Greenidge. He ran off quite comfortably. And Roger Harper, rated one of the best fielders in the game, rather surprisingly not used as the first of the emergency fielders. Arthurton, who himself is an outstanding cover field, he was used first, and then Harper has now come on as the 13th man.
That was a more dangerous outswinger, directed at leg stump. And that one played away down to fine leg. So Border now having to face the music from Marshall. He's quite keen to get the man down a deep fine leg in the right position, moving him just a little bit squarer, which would suggest that he has a theory about Border in terms of what happens when the ball is pitched short. He's right down on the boundary, quite square. He's just been moved from around about that position by Malcolm Marshall. Slip cordon all in position as well, ready for the edge.
That's a tremendous record. There are not many batsmen in the history of the game who, after a number of test matches, has managed to average above 50. 23 centuries, and on so many occasions Border has had to play the anchor role for Australia. And he's off the mark. Puts it down to Ambrose, long leg, so Border is on the way. He's got one.
35 50s and 23 hundreds in those 7,573 runs. Double century against New Zealand, his top score. A magnificent record.
It really does emphasize the consistency of Alan Border over the years. It's not to say that he's had one or two tremendous series and then a failure or two. Almost every series he seems to build up good scores, tremendous consistency.
Interesting to compare Border's overall record against his record against the West Indies. Notice the average against the West Indies, slightly lower, averaging 45 there. Scored 2 of his 2300s against them and 9 of his 50s. Still not bad when one considers that he's been playing against the West Indies at a time when they've really dominated the world of cricket. Their bowlers have been outstandingly successful, and Border hasn't been all that unsuccessful against them.
So that's the end of the over from Marshall, and Australia 3-4-67.
David.
Oh, my God.
David.
So 3-4-71 Australia, and needing a repair job here from their captain Border. and from Mike Valletta. It's Border facing Marshall.